Welcome to the EdTech Throwdown. Join us, Eric Guise and Nick Johnson, as we dive into today's best EdTech tools, tips, and practices. We do the research so you can teach your class. Remember to follow us on social media like Instagram, X, or Facebook by looking for the handle @EdTech Throwdown. Now please enjoy the show.
Welcome to the EdTech Throwdown. This is episode 202 called Tech Retreat, 8 more EdTech tools for the classroom teacher, part 2. In this episode, we will continue exploring a new list of EdTech tools that can enhance, engage, and save time. This is another episode you don't want to miss. Check it out.
All right, back with episode 202. Today we got our first little dose of snow in the morning. It lasted a whole 38 seconds.
Yeah, that was weird. I didn't even know it was snow. I don't know what I thought it was, but it came out of literally nowhere on my drive into work today.
Yeah, this is very abnormal, I feel like. I feel like we haven't gotten early snow in a long time. Usually our summer has been extended. We hardly got any fall whatsoever.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it's a mild winter. That's how I kind of feel. We might get one, maybe two, not even significant snowstorms, like 6 inches or so. A couple dustings a winter the last couple of years, but I think we might actually get some snow this year. I don't know why, but is it the Farmer's Almanac? I don't know. My son was talking about the Farmer's Almanac last week, and I was like, well, I thought I didn't even know it was still a thing.
Yeah.
You hardly ever hear about the Farmer's Almanac anymore. There's no snow. End of story.
Right. I know. People are saying that there might be. It's just been cold. It's been funny, and then today's snow has kind of thrown me off here. But I am excited to get into this stuff because we are finishing. Wait, we're not finishing, right? This is just the middle part.
2 of 3.
2 of 3, yeah.
2
so.
of 3.
Let me change that. We're not finishing, but we are getting deeper into, let's just say, this list of 24 tools. And as I always say, these are always my favorite kinds of episodes. And this might be my favorite of the 3 because the 4 things that at least that I'm talking about, I've never heard of before. And they all, I don't know if they blew my mind, but every single one of them, I was like, man, that is very cool. I don't know if you felt the same way, but.
Yeah, I mean, I think all 24 within the 3 parts are very unique. I do think that, and you're right. I would say about 20 of the 24 I've never heard before. So it is a great episode because I feel like there's something here for everyone. You may not use any, or you might use many of these tools, but I feel like everyone's going to learn something new. And everyone's going to get something that they might want to come back to later, where one of these tools fit later in the year when you might just get some inspiration to do something. For example, a couple episodes ago, when we did the radio and driving through cities and things like that, I used one of those as a discussion starter for my AP Bio class and trying to get them to look at the infrastructure of different places and try to make a guess as which one of the areas is more advanced with their ways that they get water delivered to families, to businesses, things like that. I never would have thought that I would use something like that in the AP Bio class, but I knew about it, I was inspired by it, and then I used it. So I'm hoping that we get a couple of tools in here that inspire you to do something a little different. Those little things that you do that are different often separate you from other teachers and get more kids that usually wouldn't be passionate about photosynthesis, the war of, whatever the war is. Maybe you're looking at before and after on Google Maps, like what an area looks like before or after something like a current event happens, a hurricane or something like that, and you're comparing it. But those are the things that kids remember. Those are the experiences that you could bring into the classroom, and hopefully some of these unique tools get you there.
All right, so that's a great way to pause for a word from the Teach Better Podcast Network before we come back and start going through these 8 tools.
This podcast is a proud member of the Teach Better Podcast Network. Better today, better tomorrow, and the podcast to get you there. You can find out more at teachbetter.com/podcasts. Now let's get back to the episode.
Okay, so we are back, and I'm going to start off with my first one, which is it's a coming soon website. Although their website is fairly well polished, so it might actually be available now. I can't quite tell, but it looks ready to roll. It is a website called Unique Learn, and unique is just the first part of the word, UNIQ, and then learn. You can find them at uniquelearn.co, and the theme of Unique Learn is exactly what it sounds like. It's all about this, one of the big things right now, which is sort of going beyond personalized learning, because we've been talking about that for a long time, but like a very hyper-personalized learning where a website or the platform, in this case Unique Learn, actually keeps track of a fairly detailed personality profile on each student in your class, and then as things are assigned to that student, as they do homework, as they take assessments, as they learn material, it tailors things for that student based on their profile, like individually. So it's, they call it personalized, not differentiated homework for each individual student. I would argue it is differentiated, but it's just differentiated individually to every single kid. They get instant feedback with this platform, so I haven't seen the word yet, but I'm sure AI must be a part of this. And obviously the instant feedback is super important. A teacher is going to get insights on all that information so they can decide what to do for students that need help or that are advancing more quickly. And it's just kind of this holistic approach to hyper-personalization and instant feedback for your kids. It looks really, really cool. They integrate with all big platforms that are being used across the board right now, like ClassLink and Clever for rostering and Google Classroom for pushing out assignments, Canvas, Schoology. You can go through the list on their homepage if you're curious, but it looks like they pretty much work with anybody. And this is cool because this type of thing is really hard, almost impossible for your typical classroom teacher to do, especially at the high school level where you might interact with 100 to 200 kids a day. To individually meet those needs as you are just one human being is pretty much not a thing you can do. But if your assignments were going out through Unique Learning and if you helped it build a profile for your students, that might be very possible. And it just appeals to me because I've always struggled with how to best differentiate and meet those individual needs. And it's nice to know that some platforms are coming out with an answer for that might actually make it possible. So yeah, uniquelearn.co. And I'll say one more thing. I'm almost certain you would have to pay for this. I don't know what that pricing is. You can book demos on their website. I'm sure that's where they would introduce the pricing aspect to it. So this is going to be more the kind of thing where if your district is shopping around for something like this or for a LMS, then maybe Unique Learn is something to check out.
Yeah, this one looks phenomenal. I love how you can collect data very easily per individual student. This might be best suited for, it's suited for all students, but I'm thinking like pool classrooms in elementary schools or skilled classrooms where they build skills, and if they're struggling in reading, and writing, something like that, you can really use that and tailor that to a very small classroom. I know there are a lot of teachers that if, say my son is getting pulled for reading help, being able to personalize the learning for 24 kids in a classroom when you're the only one there for instruction. You might have a para or another special ed teacher there, but this would be a good way to manage that, and I could see this as a positive tool for that. And I'm going to stick on my, I just mentioned special ed and how I think it could help there. My first tool here is going to go with helping students read as well. And this is called Rewordify, and it's on rewordify.com. And basically what it does is it's a literacy support tool that helps learners to improve their reading and comprehension. And the way that they can do this, well, there's several different ways. First, you could just copy and paste a text into this word block, and then it's going to basically break it down so it's more easily understood. So the example here is, don't let an abstruse lexicon heighten your trepidation. And then after you hit the Rewordify button, it goes, don't let a difficult and confusing word list increase your fear and nervousness. All right, so it breaks it down. And the way that you see it changes based on your preferences. For example, you could have it side by side, or you could have it intertwined with one another. So if it's side by side, it reads like two separate sentences. The one is the hard to understand one with the deeper vocabulary, and the other one is with more basic vocabulary, very easy to understand. And then for the other, you can have it like next to each other. It's called inline style. I used to loathe, and in parentheses it says hate, and eschew, avoid, perusing, carefully reading English. So, I would probably go with that one because I'm just looking at one spot, but I could see how all the words jumbled together. Even though they are highlighted different colors in here, I could see how that would be okay. And there's also the 2-column style, which has them right next to each other, but it's closer together and it lines up pretty similarly. One other thing I have to add about this is there's several different options that you have for this tool. You can use original text, you could use rewordified text and copy and paste that out. You could download it as a CSV export. There's text with vocabulary, so you could put the vocabulary in there. You can make quizzes off of that, matching, all that good stuff. And it is a part of the read and write for Google Chrome, tool. So when you go into read and write for Google Chrome, Rewordify is connected to that, so you could use it within that, which is cool.
Yeah, Rewordify looks super cool. I like the integration with Read and Write because I know that's a very popular extension, especially for the ESL teachers here. And they use that one exclusively, or at least they seem to prefer that over anything else we always suggest. So it's cool. Plus, it's just a good-looking website. It's simple. You know what it does. Doesn't feel like there's some huge, comprehensive platform that I have to learn. It's just there for you as a support, and I think it's awesome. My next one that I'm going to talk about is called Common Core Sheets. And as somebody who has made worksheets and stuff to post online for teachers, I don't quite understand how it would even be possible for a human being, there must be many human beings behind this, to put this together. But commoncoresheets.com is just what it sounds like, a collection of worksheets all built around the Common Core standards, where you can click a topic on the left-hand menu, like I'll just choose probability, and it gives you a bunch of worksheets to choose from that help teach kids about probability. Here's the really crazy part. With each worksheet, there's options that you can choose to go through the questions of that sheet, like one at a time, which of course means that it only shows one question at a time. Flashcards, which means it turns all those questions into flashcards to study from. They have a distance learning option, and then they have a create new sheet, which looks like it's going to allow you to, you can actually edit what's there, which is really cool. And it all comes out as a PDF that you can then download. The astounding thing is that there's just so many of these. I don't know how long this has been out there. Maybe this has existed for a long time and we're just discovering it. So they've just had a long time to slowly add and build more. but it's really cool. Now, I don't know how many of these are going to apply to me, because as a high school chemistry teacher, I'm not directly involved with Common Core, but I would imagine if you teach elementary, maybe even middle school, there's some pretty powerful stuff here. And, coming up with that base level worksheet is often, a huge hurdle for teachers, and any place you can go to get one as a starting point, especially ones that are pre-formatted like this, very helpful. Obviously, you can have your AI tools create these things, but a lot of the times, even with an AI tool, you've got to format it and put it in the doc and make it printer friendly. These have that done already, plus the options that I just went through for having kids engage with them. Really cool. So commoncoresheets.com, a gigantic collection of Common Core state standard aligned worksheets with many options around even those. Good website.
Yeah, I was just clicking through it, and I went to the science Common Core worksheets, and then I selected animals for the high school age level, and it came up with all these little animal fact sheets. And one of the things I'm going to be doing over the next week in AP Bio is we're looking at the properties of water, and I want them to research an animal that lives in a harsh condition and explain how the properties of water help that animal survive. And without water having those unique properties, how that animal wouldn't be able to survive. They could pick either way, how it would, or how it is able to survive, or how it is not able to survive if it didn't have those properties of water. So I might use those if I could find enough of the animals who live in harsh conditions, like the caribou in the snow was in there, the desert mouse that lives in the desert. Those are two good ones. I'm sure I could find a cactus or something like that, and then I divide them up within the class. We do 15 minutes of research. We have 5 minutes of writing a claims evidence reasoning, and then we have a 30-second presentation per kid. And we get it done in one class period. So this might be a good spot for that. I love some of the math worksheets. My kids love math. I might go and try to get like a 6th or 7th grade math sheet for my 4th grader. And then also for my second, I might get a 4th or 5th grade math sheet. And for the kindergartner, probably a 2nd grade math sheet. They're all very advanced in math. The other areas of the academia, work in progress, but they do love their math. So it's a good spot for us to, just find worksheets that are already available, and the answer keys are in there, which is cool, because I'll have them try it, and when they think they're done, I'll have them go find the answer key. Usually I hide the answer keys in the house somewhere. They have to go find it. A little scavenger hunt there, but it's cool. That is also a solid tool. Let's get into my next one. This one's called 123 Apps. This is like a collection of online tools for video, audio, PDF, and file conversion. It's like a one-stop shop. I like this site because it is a one-stop shop, but also because I feel like I can work within the free plan. So I'll get into the free plan in a second, but there are tons of tools. There's 18 different video tools, from trim video, flip video, rotate video, crop video, remove logo from video, text-to-speech, merge videos, screen recorder, video recorder, all those different things. You could even change the speed of the video, which sometimes, that's worth doing. Audio tools, you have a lot of the same. Change the volume, speed, audio. You could reverse the audio. So sometimes it's fun to do that. Like I'll reverse a very famous passage, put it in reverse and see if anyone can get it. It takes 2 seconds. You give them 10 seconds to try to listen to it to see if anyone can guess it. PDF tools, split, merge, compress, unlock, protect, rotate. And then you have all the conversions, PDF to Word, PDF to Excel, add page numbers, JPEG to PDF, Word to PDF, PowerPoint to PDF, all that. And then you have your converters. audio converters, which is like taking a WAV file, converting it to an MP3 file. You have the video converter, image converter, ebook converter. You might play around with that one just to see what it is. But as I said before, go down to the pricing. For $6 a month, you get unlimited everything with no ads, with very fast speeds. For free, you get all 51 of the tools, but you only get 5 files per day. How often do you do more than 5 files in a day?
Never.
Yeah, never. So the main difference here is the size of the file. So with the premium, it could be up to 4 gigs. So if you are working with large files, then that might be the way to go. If you're just working with text or anything with a smaller file size under 500 MBs, I think the free version is the way to go. And also, if you pay on a yearly versus a monthly, it's only $4 a month if you do yearly. It's $6 if you do monthly. So if you're using all those regularly, maybe that's the way to go. It's not going to break the bank there at $48 a year. But that would have to be something that you mess with a lot and often. But check out 123 apps when you're working with your multimedia tools. Just see if that works for you.
Yeah, it's so hard to constantly have a good place to go for all these conversions that take place, and they're always changing and going away. And I like this one because it looks like everything is all in one spot, and as long as it, lasts and is still there a year, 2 years from now when I send people there, then I'm happy with it. And yeah, for the free is like you said, the free is probably going to be fine. Okay, so my next tool, my second to last one, is called MakeProgressAI.ca, which is an AI-powered report card comment generator. And I know that report card comments can be extremely time-consuming for teachers. I don't know why, but at our school, we do not have to do them. Maybe I shouldn't say that. That's going to upset some people who do have to do report card comments. And I can't remember why, but they just sort of got rid of them for us maybe 10 years ago. I kind of forgot they were even a thing until I was looking over this, and my brain went back to the days when, we were required to put in comments. And at the high school level, it was just a bunch of canned comments. It wasn't even really personalized, but you had to do it, and it was very tedious. At the elementary level, I assume it's even more tedious because then you're actually writing something for every student individually. And I could just imagine that would take an extremely large amount of time. So that's where this website has found its roots. MakeProgressAI.ca allows you to set up these classes, and you can sign up for free. You set up your classes. You can import like your own comment bank if you have one. You can upload all these different file types to that class. And then once you've got your class loaded in there, you can take one student at a time, and it looks like you just kind of put in some basics about that student, like general quick little comments, and then the tool will compose like a fully put together, like a fully crafted report card appropriate in teacher speak ways about that student that you can then share and export out. You can also, this one's kind of cool, you can select similar students. So if you've got like 5 students that are all really strong in math but are struggling with like a reading component and they're well behaved in class, you can do all 5 of those at once, put in those general comments that I just said, and then the website will create uniquely crafted things for each of those, but all pretty much saying the same thing about them. So that can save you a bunch of time. And then there's also, when you're doing this, there's a little comment bank button. So if you have a comment bank, that will be there. You can just sort of click these comment bank buttons for those kids, and then it'll write something about them. And if this is a world you're living in, teachers, writing report card comments and it's driving you crazy, check out MakeProgressAI.ca. Maybe it can help you. Maybe share it with your administrative team and see if it's something they can roll out on a school-wide basis. It looks like there's lots of use here, lots of great comments, and this website appears to be, shared and talked about a lot online. So, pretty cool. MakeProgressAI.ca.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's going to save you time, especially if you have to do those. I would look at that and see if there's a way that I can use that for other purposes, such as grading labs or something like that. I haven't looked into it enough to say that you can do this, but if you can just make a collection of canned comments, maybe that would be an option for me as far as grading labs and things like that. But if you do canned comments on report cards, I know that across the top it says you can spend more time watching Netflix.
Right.
I would like any time to watch Netflix these days, between kids' sports schedules and prepping for this and that and taking care of everything at the house. Yeah, give me some of that time.
Yep, so. There you go.
All right, my third one is a little different, I believe. It's called Almanac, ALMANACK. And this is like a one-stop shop for your lesson planning. It will make your lesson plans based off your lesson plans. It will create all your resources, whether it's worksheets, activities, assessments, slide decks, in any language for any subject. It's going to be ready when you are, always prepared, and you're never going to get caught off guard. That's their slogan. But what you could create with Almanac, from kindergarten to high school assessments in any language, you can make these printables. And the printables kind of look like a standard workbook for little kids. And as it gets more and more complex, the template of these worksheets change a little bit to fit those higher grades. So you're not going to see any little, ducks walking across the 11th grade lesson plan here. All right, so as you look at it down at the bottom, it does integrate with all our favorite tools such as Forums, Kahoot, Gimkit, Bluekit, Quizzes, which that needs updated. It's Wayground now. Quizlet, Google Slides, Docs, PowerPoint, Word, and PDFs. So there's a lot of conversion there. You can sign up for free without a credit card. I like seeing that. Your free gets you a lot. Okay, so for this, gets you a lot. I was actually surprised about how much you get for the free plan. You get basically all the tools. You get the standard aligned lesson planning. You get the curriculum design and long-range planning, lesson and unit planner, slide presentations, basic worksheets and activities, quizzes and assessments, educational games, and custom video recommendations. You get all that for free. You could try the Pro version for 2 months for free, and after that it's $7.50 per month. But once again, this is another one where I think you can get enough out of the free version if that's something that you're looking for to get by. So check out almanac.ai. I think this is another one. I know we give you a lot of these solutions. It's like an all-in-one, tool that you could use, but oftentimes you find something that you don't like with a tool. Well, why stick with it if there's other options out there? Find the best one for you.
Yeah, that looks cool. And I'll just get right into my last one, which I've saved the best for last. To me, it's called Ziplet.com. And this gives you a platform for quick and easy, I think they call them check-ins. The main thing is igniting curiosity in every student. That's kind of how they start the whole thing. But it's a very fast check-in tool, and it gives you a platform to do that. So bell ringers, you kids are walking in, you need something to settle them down, get them focused. Exit ticket, kids are about to leave, but they can't do so until they report to you in some way. SEL checks, formative assessment tool, all of these things. Weirdly enough, we have a ton of different tools as teachers that will do this. But and it's funny, I've never really found one that works really well. It's always sort of like shoehorning something in. Like, sure, I could go to Wayground, formerly Quizzes, and make a quiz question that's is the bell ringer for the day, but it just never felt right? It doesn't feel like that's what it's for, and it sort of loses some of its effectiveness. You could just stand there and ask the discussion question, but then maybe you have a class that's hesitant to respond and it kind of falls flat. It's tough, man, but Ziplet does that, right? It gives you a platform whose whole job is administrating an exit ticket, bell ringer, or a formative assessment check-in. So, just as some examples, bell ringer is usually what I would try to do. They've got these quick things like topic starters, like you could have a question there on the maybe projected as the students come in. Their example is, today we start our new topic, the Magna Carta. Do you know anything about this topic already? The kids don't have to sign up. They just type in a 6-digit code, much like they were going to go play a game for you or something, but they type in the code, they respond, and then the teacher can see all that or choose to project all that, so you can get this very quick sort of, look at what people know. Maybe start the discussion that way, breaks the ice a bit. They have well-being check-ins. It can be as simple as, how are you feeling today? And they choose a little emoji. This can be surprisingly effective in any classroom setting. It's, really great to begin that way. Icebreakers, homework check-ins. How did you find the homework? 1 through 5 scale. 1 is hard, 5 is easy. The list goes on. And then the same for exit tickets and formative assessment. I just like it because it's a platform that is designed around that thing specifically, and you're not trying to use here's a 24 slide Google slide deck where everybody goes and types in their stuff. It just starts to feel clunky. This is anything but clunky. So you can check this out at ziplet.com, and then just, my recommendation is scroll down and click on the thing you're most interested in. Click on where this big box that says exit tickets or bell ringers, and just take a look at their examples, and I have a feeling that most teachers would be pretty excited about this. So that's a very, very cool one.
Yeah, it sounds pretty cool, and I'll just follow your lead here and get quickly into our next one because I know that we're on a time constraint today. But my last one's called Classroom Cereal. What's the first thing you do after you wake up? Brush your teeth, get dressed, you go down, you have a bowl of cereal. So this is basically a class starter, all right? Very short passage here where students have to read it. And there are different parts of the classroom serial, different programs. There's grammar, so that there you would get like a short paragraph passage. They have to be the investigator of that text and find the 5 grammar mistakes. You have serial theater, where it's a story that builds on, each story builds upon itself. So Monday you'll get part of the story, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and by the time you get to Friday, that story is complete and you have to work within that. It might be comprehension questions, it could be whatever you set it as. Sometimes it's just role play and character developing, like little theater that you could do. Just have fun with a little role play every morning, which is pretty cool. So they have podcast activities, cereal box activity sheets, reading comprehension sheets, and standalone stories. Once again, anything to increase fun in reading and literacy and all that good stuff, and also the ability to test comprehension of something that they like to read is pretty cool too.
This is my favorite thing is the podcast. So all these stories are available in podcast form for kids to listen to. I also love the design of this website. It's very clean, simple, but it looks professional still. Yeah, I wish I had more of a use for this myself, because it looks like it's really just a great way to do what you said and make reading and writing more fun. So I think those are the 2 correct choices to end today's episode, which, remember, is just part 2. Don't forget to stay tuned for episode 203, the last in the Tech or Treat series here, to conclude all 24 tools. I know we've done some really great ones so far, and check out the next episode for the finale. As always, thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening to the EdTech Throwdown. Do us a couple of favors. Subscribe to our podcast on any major podcast catcher such as Apple, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, and Stitcher. Go over to YouTube, search the EdTech Throwdown, subscribe to the channel. You can connect with us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. The show's handle is EdTech Throwdown. You can connect with Guise at Guise.tech, Nick at Nick.tech. You can write us an Apple Podcast review. You can tell your friends about www.edtechthrowdown.com. edtech.com. And lastly, go over and check out our friends over at the Teach Better Podcast Network, a network that we are so proudly involved with. Until next time, remember, go try some EdTech because we will do the research so you can teach your class.